Suicide Squad 3 is not happening. Now, this was something we've kind of been wondering about for a while now, considering that the Suicide Squad, which was basically Suicide Squad 2, came out in August of 2021. And especially considering since we had DC fandom like a couple months after that, you think that would have been the perfect time to announce a third movie. Especially given how critically acclaimed this movie is and how much everybody loved it, despite the terrible box office numbers for this film, everybody loved it. So why would it not get a sequel? Or threequel, whatever you want to call it. Why is it not getting another movie? Well, now that Peacemaker's come out, it makes a lot more sense. If you watch Peacemaker, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then spoiler alert, because we're about to talk spoilers for Peacemaker. But that ends with Adebayo going on live TV, exposing her mother, Amanda Waller, and Task Force X, and Belle Reve, and that whole operation. So, it's kind of impossible to do another Suicide Squad movie after that. Now that the world knows about that, most likely the police are going to be going after Amanda Waller. So it makes sense. But still, you'd think we'd get something. Now, where's this coming from? Why am I making this video? Because we do actually have a report about this from not even an official website source. It's actually a writer who used to work for Geeks Worldwide, which is a fairly reliable source, that went on Twitter and said that Suicide Squad 3 isn't happening, but it will have a spiritual successor given the events of Peacemaker. So this could go a number of ways, and I talked about this in my Peacemaker finale when I was talking about that moment of Task Force X being exposed. Oh, this is where we could go in Suicide Squad 3, is maybe Amanda Waller assembling a brand new Suicide Squad team, possibly more undercover version of that team, and having her Suicide Squad team go up against a more anti-hero-ish version of the Suicide Squad, led by Adebayo and Emilia Harcourt, including Peacemaker, and probably some of the other characters that survived the Suicide Squad, like Bloodsport and Harley Quinn, Ratcatcher, and King Shark. So that's kind of what I was thinking there. But it's not happening, or at least not in a Suicide Squad 3. And now it's being said that it'll be a spiritual successor. So what could the spiritual successor be? Well, I'd say the most obvious thing is just, Peacemaker Season 2. We know Peacemaker Season 2 is happening. It's a logical way for things to go after the end of Season 1. But it could be something else, though. Because James Gunn is kind of taking over this whole corner of the DC universe, focusing on the Suicide Squad. Not only with the Suicide Squad, but Peacemaker and like all the characters related here. Basically like all these DC villains. So it's already been announced that he's working on another series for HBO Max, another spin-off from the Suicide Squad. We all assume that that would be focusing on one specific character. Like, oh, maybe it's a Bloodsport series, maybe it's a Ratcatcher series, maybe it's a Bloodsport Ratcatcher team-up series. We don't know. But what if that's not what it is? What if it is actually Suicide Squad 3? What if Suicide Squad 3 is being done in the form of an HBO Max series? And what if it's not even called the Suicide Squad whatever? What if instead it's called Task Force X? I think that's another likely option as well, and honestly I wouldn't mind seeing that. Now, there are some other options where actually you could be telling that story that I kind of just pitched with Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad versus Harcourt and Adebayo's Suicide Squad, is you could use another team from the comics, like, for example, the Secret Six. Now, the Secret Six is a team that has been rumored and talked about for the longest time in Hollywood about getting a TV series. I remember first they were going to be developing one for, I think it was like CBS or something like that, where it was one of the network TV stations, and then they were working on something for the CW, and all those plans fell through. And then over the past couple years, I've been hearing a rumor pop up every once in a while about a Secret Six TV series for HBO Max, and I've made multiple videos about it on my channel, but there hasn't been any official confirmation. And this whole time I've been wondering about, alright, if James Gunn does do a Secret Six series, why would he do that if it's basically the Suicide Squad 2.0? Well, that's exactly what this could be. This could be maybe Harcourt and Adebayo's Suicide Squad team that's going up against Amanda Waller's Task Force X, is the team known as the Secret Six. And again, you could have those members like Peacemaker, ooh, maybe Vigilante could be on the team. You could have Bloodsport, Harley Quinn, King Shark, and Ratcatcher. Literally right there, 6 characters. 6 characters for the Secret Six. Or it could also go the other way around, where Amanda Waller's squad is called the Secret Six, because now that she's been exposed, maybe she's the one that's more secret. So I'm kind of liking this. I'm honestly kind of liking this idea, because I love the Suicide Squad, but I honestly think I might have liked Peacemaker even more, and that possibly is because of the format of a series. I honestly do think that a series is better, because you can just dive into these characters even more, and just the storytelling can go so much further in a series format, because you just have so much more time. So maybe this is a smarter idea. Maybe the Suicide Squad 3 will be an HBO Max series, and maybe it will be the Secret Six, and maybe it will be one team of villains versus another team of villains. It could possibly even be like, we could even be incorporating something along the lines of like the Legion of Doom or the Injustice League in here. That's something else that has been kind of set up, or at least was originally a plan in the DCU. So I don't know. I'm liking all the ideas and all the ways that this could go, because again, there's so many options. And one of the things I love about the Suicide Squad the most is just the fact that it is a bunch of DC villains. I love villains, specifically DC villains, because there's so many weird, crazy DC villains, especially when it comes to the Suicide Squad. So to see that we're getting just like all these projects focused on the DC villains is awesome. I think this is just awesome, and it's really amazing. I really can't wait to see what happens, and we should be hopefully getting an announcement of this secret new James Gunn HBO Max series sometime soon. And when we do get that announcement, do not be surprised if it is ending up basically being the Suicide Squad 3, which I think is actually an awesome idea. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about this news that the Suicide Squad 3 is not happening? We are not getting a third Suicide Squad movie, but possibly the story could continue on HBO Max with some new villainous teams being assembled. So anyways guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep it up to date on everything goes on in the DC life.